And welcome to the Writer's Life, the place where you get the sight, sound, smells, taste of my particular writer's life, and where you get the truth about the writer's life as I've known it for a long, long time now. Subscribe if you haven't already. Punch the like button and tap the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on one good fucking video. So the spelling's going down a lot. Still slurring my words a little bit. And I still got that shiner. But making progress. And I'm over that 5-day hump where I had 2 extractions and you're always in danger for the first 4 days. You're always in danger that you get dry socket, which can be extremely painful and especially inconvenient considering this is a holiday weekend, President's Day weekend. I always thought all the big woke social justice warrior crowd who, hates our system of government and the Constitution and the president, at least Republican presidents. I always thought they should work on days like this. It's just like when I'm in Europe. In Europe, when I'm in Italy, living in Italy, they have a religious holiday, like a Catholic holiday, every other week. And people get the day off. And hardly anybody over there goes to church. And if you don't go to church, you should work that day. Those would be rules I'd put into place if I were in charge. And how about that Don Lemon guy? He's getting canceled. Although the woke people are eating themselves up. He says women are beyond their prime by the time they hit 50. What a stupid ass thing to say. I always found that man condescending anyway. But anyway, I don't watch CNN, so whatever. Anyway, just shooting the shit with you. That's what this hopefully makes this station different from a lot of the others where they no, you go to A and you go to B and this is what you do. I'm just talking to you like I would talk to you over a beer or over dinner. You don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. We can be friends. That's the way it's always worked. And you should have seen when I was in college, 6 or 7 of us were best tight buddies. It expanded a little bit as we got older, but I think every single one of us had a different opinion about everything. But that's kind of what made it work. You know what I mean? It didn't matter what the subject was. Everything from meatloaf to politics. We all sort of had our own little take. And, you wouldn't believe the arguments we'd have. But the best was when we would have arguments. This is when we were first in college and we didn't have all that much to do other than go to the package store and bring back a whole bunch of beers and play Risk. And we'd have Risk set up on the floor and we'd all sit around it. And sure enough, an argument would start. And one of the guys would just flip the board and be like, fuck you. We'd all have a good laugh and, whatever. I'd pee my pants laughing at those guys. But the beauty was that we didn't agree on everything. What a concept. And you can say whatever you want. Free speech. I got a feeling college campuses are much different these days. Very much different. They don't seem like fun to me. I could be wrong. I could be absolutely wrong. I have no evidence of that other than the woke culture, which to me doesn't seem like very much fun either. Anyway, speaking of education, and I really shouldn't even be talking about this right now because I spoke about it less than 2 weeks ago, but I'm going to speak about it again because it's going with this thread. I'm being interviewed by the Big Thrill for next month's edition. Not a big article, like a 600-word article. But anyway, the interviewer asked me what I took from, what was my takeaway from MFA school. And my big takeaway was don't go to MFA school now. But back in the mid-'90s, I graduated from my college in 97. Class of 97. You kind of had, even though it was the dawn of the internet, which really, to me, it ushered in the beginning of the 21st century, publishing would not catch up with the 21st century until the 20 teens. Essentially, you could argue it caught up in 2008 with the introduction of the Kindle, but still, people really didn't start getting it until the 20 teens. And by getting it, I mean like you could go traditional or indie or both, like me, hybrid. And it was 40 something thousand dollars or something, or maybe it was 20,000 back then, and it's 40 something now, or 60,000. I don't know. Anyway, it was very expensive. And I don't know how much it taught me as a writer. It was just something I had to do because back then the most I could hope for was to publish maybe a book every 2 or 3 years with a university press or maybe a small press, and maybe a couple of short stories per year, and I would have to teach creative writing somewhere. Never was the idea of a major deal brought up or anything like that, or even the possibility of it. It was, you're going to get out of here, you have your degree, MFA degree in creative writing, and you're eligible. Then you have the credentials to teach creative writing at some school, even though those jobs really don't exist. But anyway, they didn't tell us that either. Luckily, by the time I was in my 4th semester, I knew damn well I wanted to be a genre writer. I knew I wanted to write mystery series and thrillers and stuff like that. And I've mentioned this before, but I'll never forget. The Vermont College would always put on like a little mixer every couple of days, where students and faculty would get together and have a few beers and stuff like that. And I said, in the midst of several teachers, I said, I'm going to be an entertainer. My job as a writer is an entertainer. And like the whole place, it was like I set the house ablaze. You could hear a pin drop, not to mix my metaphors, but and some woman, a poetry teacher, I think, said, like, you're not here to learn how to entertain people. And I was like, I got the willies with that one. And I was like, well, I'm going to make a living from it. And that made it worse, of course, right? Because like here I am, like, and people are like, who does he think he is, saying he's going to make a living from his writing? And I still get that shit today from other writers and whatever. But anyway, so be it. But it's the truth. I wanted to entertain. I wanted to be like a pulp writer, and that's the way it turned out. And luckily, I have never had to have any other job, except for a couple of times I went back to my dad's business when things got real slow. But no more for like, I think the longest stint I did was like maybe 6 months, and I worked on like proposals and website stuff or whatever. But like maybe I did that twice in 25 years. And of course, when he died, I had to help finish whatever was any jobs that were on the books so that we could close the company down. That was a very difficult time because I just signed a major contract with Thomas and Mercer, and we had to close the business, and it was just a crazy time. But in any case, and I've never had to teach. I've given lectures at universities and colleges and high schools, but I have never had to teach, which is a good thing, because there are no jobs. And it was only later on that someone in the know reminded me, or didn't remind me, told me, they were like, the stats show that like 99.5% of all graduates of writing school never go on to write another creative word again. They go to another graduate school and get like a degree in like accounting. Boring accounting. All right. I must be feeling better if I'm busting on accountants again. All right. So that's it for today. Hope you're enjoying your long weekend. Apparently you guys have the day off tomorrow. I don't take days off. And I'll talk to you probably tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.